Road. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, cloudy skies, a low of 31. Tomorrow, decreasing clouds and mild, a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
It's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatments done and continuing, I do feel, stuff does hurt a little bit more, but I'm 40, in my 40s, and that's going to happen. But again, the energy levels, it is above and beyond. Again, I'm back in that age where I'm like, this is amazing.
Get started today at LowTUSA.com.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. If you've been cold in your own home, do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. Plus, a free upgrade to triple pane glass, and they'll double your energy tax credit. Tell them I told you to call and get an additional $250 off your project. Go to UniversalWindowsDirect.com, and you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
Maybe this will be the future. It will no longer be the Homer Hour. It'll be the Homer Half Hour. Yes, just 30 minutes before Marquette and Villanova play. Courtside, actually, as they warm up with the, I don't know if you can hear it, with the loudest music I've ever experienced. Now, part of that might be because we aren't courtside in that many games anymore, but I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it doesn't matter because you're going to be able to hear Rob Domofsky because everything is important as it relates to the Green Bay Packers. 68, how are you? That is, of course, the score, 3 under that he scored in the club championship one round one year. Rob, good evening.
Homer, how are you? Are you in Philadelphia?
I am at Villanova. I guess it's kind of Philadelphia. I don't know. It's a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to tell you, I don't know if, as you get older, if you've lost yardage on your drives. Have you?
No, because technology has helped, I think.
But I'm mentioning this because I want you to shoot another 68 to justify your nickname. Gary D'Amato had some information about the PGA, whatever it is, where they sell all the stuff.
Merchandise show, yep.
He spent almost $200 on this contraption because he was convinced that it would help his drive that much. So
that's Gary, and that's every golfer.
No, but I don't think Gary does this often. I think for him to do this is rare. Now, I don't know how well you know him. You can call him and ask, but I thought if I'm going to call you 68, I have to at least make you aware that there was something. I'm not sure he's ever purchased another item from. It's the PGA, show or whatever they call it.
PGA merchandise show. Here's the thing,
merchandise show.
What? All golf writers get all that stuff for free. So the fact that Gary had to buy something, well, then he really must want some extra.
I know.
distance.
So I think, I don't know how well you know him, but you maybe need to give him a call because I want to do anything to get you. I want you to be 68 twice.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
All right. Now back to the defensive coordinator for the Packers because nothing else matters. Any new names or anything? Start with any information you can pass along.
Just the 2 guys from Baltimore that everybody loves Baltimore's defense. So their linebackers coach and their DB coach apparently are interviewing. And I believe, if I have the count right, that's 5 or 6 known candidates. And last time he interviewed 9, so I don't think this is over by any stretch.
Okay.
And there may be guys that we don't know about that have interviewed, so maybe we're already at that point. But he's not just going to interview 4 or 5 people. He's going to interview several people, which is bizarre to me, Homer, because if I were a coach or an athletic director or anybody that's in a hiring position, I would have my list, right? I would have like 3 or 4 people that I'm going to hire one of these people. And that this doesn't seem to be how Matt LaFleur is operating.
Well, that was going to be my follow-up question, that wondering whether or not you think any approach has changed, given that the last one, he hired Joe Barry, though I'm guessing privately he believes that Barry was way better than people give him credit for, especially the last year. But if he told you that privately, unlike Tom Rinaldi, who gets the Knucklehead award forever.
No, and he has not said that. But maybe they're interviewing, or he's interviewing all these different people because he's trying to find things out about how other teams do this, and he really knows that I'm going to hire one of 3 guys. I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah.
Because you don't just not know who you're going to hire. You don't not just have a good idea, right? Anybody.
I know. I will defer to you. I don't know that. I don't know how each person. I mean, you know him better being around him.
Yeah.
I mean, and what we know is he has difficulty firing people to some degree, right? I mean, I don't.
Correct.
So I don't know the nature, and I would just think if I was Matt LaFleur, however I do things, because I've called him soft and smart, I use now, but I would think however I do things, I get an A+ for this last year, and that whatever my fundamental belief is, it all worked out great because I took this really young team that was terrible early and transformed them, and that's hard for anybody to do. So however he decides things, don't you assume he's more confident in himself after this year than even any other year?
Yeah, I think that's fair. However, I think that's fair on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not so sure that that's fair with the rest of the football team. And they still seem to be searching for a way to make the rest of the football team equal to what they did offensively in the last half of the season. And now you could argue that, well, yeah, they showed promise defensively late in the year. Well, not promise enough to convince him to keep Joe Barry. And look, I think he made the right move. I think most of us would agree that that they needed to make a defensive coordinator change. However, who he hires and how they play is going to be just as important as anything that he's done in the past, 12 months as far as preparing for the next season.
Yeah, so many of my questions are just kind of based on knowing him, and you know him, and how you think, and what he's going about. So, I mean, the other question was, how much did he get involved in the defense in the last few games? That has been some reference has been made to it. How much of that is real?
Yeah, I think there's a decent amount of it is real, which is why at the end of his press conference to wrap up the season, he even went so far as to suggest, hey, look, if I need to spend more time with the defense, and that means giving up play calling, which I don't believe that he will do, but he was making a point that if he needs to spend more time in certain areas, that he will. Now, do I think he's going to give up offensive play calling? No. He's really good at it. It's one of his strengths, and we saw Mike McCarthy come to regret that decision when he did it in 2015. But I do think it's a sign that Matt LaFleur is not just an offensive play-calling head coach anymore, is that he knows for them to get to the next level, he's either A, got to hire somebody that's more competent than Joe Barry, or B, he's got to be more involved. And maybe it's C, both.
Well, if I was him and I went through that, the time I spent would make it easier for me to hire the next guy, wouldn't it? I mean,
no question.
I don't understand this. If you're a good offensive coordinator, you got to be really good at assessing defensive coordinators.
Yep, because that's what you're looking at every day when you're studying game film.
Right, and you can decide whether it's the players or the system, or right? I mean,
absolutely. No, you're 100% right, Homer. And here's the problem: is until we know who he's going to hire, a lot of these questions, while they're great in theory, we can't really answer because we don't know what he's looking for. Is he looking for scheme? Is he looking for energy and motivation in a coach. We don't know that right now, and maybe he doesn't know it either. But as soon as we get a hire, I think we'll know what he's seeking, whether that's a change in scheme, a change in personality, or both.
Well, what changed for you or to you in the last few games with the understanding that he was more involved?
Well, a couple of things. They blitzed more.
Okay.
They definitely sent more pressure, which would tell you that he wants to be more aggressive.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah.
And then to me, we always hear we want to be more aggressive. Well, when have you heard a defense say we want to be less aggressive? Never, right? I mean,
correct.
That's never been uttered. But I do think we saw more 5- and 6-man pressers. We saw more man coverage, and we saw fewer breakdowns. Now, did they tackle much better? I still don't know that they tackled a whole heck of a lot better, especially in the 49ers game. They didn't tackle overly well. But I'm not sure tackling is based on your scheme. I think that's a separate entity that they've always struggled with, and I don't know how you fix that.
Talking Rob Demovsky, I always like to ask a few unfair questions. So, who would you hire? Who do you like?
I would hire, if you could, Ejiro Evero, the guy from Carolina, who the problem is most teams are being blocked from interviewing him as a defensive coordinator because he's under contract with Carolina. Now, he's interviewed for head coaching jobs, but if he's off the board, I would go with someone from the Baltimore system. I really would. I mean, they're probably one of the best defenses out there right now. But the problem is their defensive coordinator is probably going to end up being a head coach. So now you're going with one of the position coaches, with Zach Orr, the linebackers coach, is one of them. He doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of experience. And same thing with their defensive backs coach. But if you want to be what the best teams are, you have to steal from them. And to me, I would try to get someone from that type of a system, an aggressive, physical presence of a defense.
Now, you mentioned, is it Evero? Is that how you pronounce it? I mean, Jason.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what concern is there where, all right, if he's available, but then he's just going to leave in a year?
Yeah.
Or is
I
that
understand
not,
that.
I'm not saying that's even true. I'm just saying that's presented, but I don't know whether it's accurate or not.
Well, but if he does, that means he did really well, right? Like if he's here 1 year, I can live with that. Like, everyone talks about, like, when they hire college basketball coaches. For example, the guy here at Green Bay was terrible.
By the way, he's done an amazing job, and I'd be scared he's going to leave. Yeah. Either that or Bo Ryan's kid is the worst coach in the history of basketball. Like, they were losing games by 40 points at home, right? I'm not making this up.
No, but everyone up here is like, oh, well, if he's successful, he's going to leave. So what? At least you had success, right? Like,
and you made a great hire.
Right, and then you've at least turned the foundation and the culture around.
Yes.
So I don't care if they hire a defensive coordinator here who's going to leave in a year, because if he left in a year for another job, that means he did pretty good and he's laid a foundation.
I mean, based on what's going on, my analysis of everything would be that he's not going to do anything because this may be his guy or really close to his guy, right? If he believes in Evero, right, he's going to wait.
Yeah,
right.
He might be waiting. Yep, that's very valid. He might be waiting.
And
he should have hired him the last time around. He was interviewed. He was one of the 9 that they interviewed, and we all thought that it was either him or Jim Leonard, and we were obviously wrong.
Is Leonard out? I haven't even heard anything. Is he said he doesn't want to?
I have not been able to find anyone to tell me that he has been a candidate yet. I have not been able to find anyone to say that. So I would be led to believe that either they're keeping it secret or he's not involved.
Right, and they as an organization must feel they're a better team than they maybe thought a year ago, and so you'd probably want somebody who's had some experience. Like Evero just seems perfect. That's okay. I was going to hire him. I didn't. If I get a chance to get him now, I'm going to do it. Right? I mean, isn't this?
No, you're right.
This is really easy. And if nobody's hired, I don't know if I lost Rob.
Yeah,
I
lost you for a second. I am here now.
Okay.
I lost you for a second.
I mean, so I want the guy, and I just got to wait. Yeah. And I use all the time to interview all the other people just to get more information.
That very well could be what's happening.
Is there any reason am I missing something?
No,
I think we're down to two jobs. Aren't we down to two
head coaching jobs? Yep, Washington and Seattle. And, of course, the big news today was that the Detroit offensive coordinator decided that he's not going to take either one of those jobs and that he's staying in Detroit as offensive coordinator.
Now, Evero, how often does this happen where somebody becomes a head coach to move up a level the week before week and a half before the Super Bowl? I mean, does that happen often?
I don't think that's a factor in the timing of it. I don't believe that's a factor.
So I'm going to assume, you tell me if I'm wrong, that every day they don't hire someone. I'm assuming he's the guy. I think that's we've moved closer to that prospect of becoming a reality. If the longer this goes by, I think that's an accurate statement. Because I'd ask you this, I don't see how it could be anybody else. Like if you feel like you should have hired him, because he's done pretty well since, right? I mean, it's not like all.
Correct.
I should have hired him then. I didn't. And if I get another chance, I'm going to hire him now.
I think that would be ideal. I just don't know. We just don't know if that's going to be reality yet.
Right. So what would prevent it from happening? He would get a head coaching job.
Yeah, or Carolina is just not going to let him out of his contract, and he's going to force. The new Carolina coach to keep him, which that has not yet been determined. The new Carolina coach, I believe today was at the Senior Bowl. I saw him pictured there. So he probably has not put together his staff yet. Now, some of the Carolina coaches, including James Campen, the former Packers offensive line coach, have already been let go, but Evero has not been released from his contract yet.
And what does that tell you?
It tells you that ownership would prefer that the new head coach keep him.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
We've got some backups and an accident. Southbound on 4394 coming off of the ramp from 794 westbound, so heads up with that. It's affecting your ride through the Marquette. So southbound 43 is also seeing delays from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette. Take that back a step. It's going to be slow from Hampton Avenue down past Locust. With the northbound side of 43 backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keefe. And westbound 94 very slow out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, cloudy skies, a low of 31. Tomorrow, decreasing clouds and mild, a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Play Whistling Straits and other Pro Tour courses, whatever the weather is, in one of their 12 state-of-the-art simulators.
Football guy.
What the hell happened to Bucky on your hat?
Football guy.
A lot of wear and tear for old B.
Coming at it from different views.
I'm just saying, he's well worn. I mean, his face is missing. Okay, well, it's probably time for me to freshen that up. Bucky wants to flip you off right now.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Attention, Wisconsin! Eagle Sports Range is now open, proudly claiming the title of Wisconsin's largest indoor range. Enjoy 40 lanes, unlimited range time, no reservations needed, and an impressive selection of 100 firearm rentals with unlimited swaps. Experience the thrill like never before. Right now, you can text ESPN to 414-375-6030 for a free range pass. That's 414-375-6030. Valid for one person only, expires within 48 hours. Head to EagleSportsRange.com for more info.
Hey, this is Jason Wilde from Wilde & Tausch. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Racine Danish Kringles has you covered with their heart-shaped Kringle. You know my family loves Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles, and sometimes they share it with me. Racine Danish Kringles offers a heart-shaped Kringle with pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk cherry, and pecan flavors to send to your loved one. Order at Kringle.com or call 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles, the official pastry of ESPN Wisconsin. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Prevea Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Prevea Orthopedics, specializing in you.
Ready to conquer the Midwest's premier winter playground? Then start planning a visit to Granite Peak. With over 200 acres of skiable terrain, Granite Peak has something for everyone. From beginners to seasoned pros, park skiers to mogul fanatics, and everything in between. Soar to new heights on their state-of-the-art chairlifts and warm up in the cozy historic chalet with roaring fireplaces and stunning views. A legendary winter adventure begins at Granite Peak. Don't miss out. Visit skigranitepeak.com to book your winter vacation now, and for more information, Granite Peak. Legendary winters, legendary fun.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
2, 1.
We had a minor technical difficulty. Thanks to Rob Domowski. Yeah, I think to me, that's if the one of the guy before and you picked him at somebody else and he's still available, then I'm going to wait. And I'm not hiring anybody until I find out his situation, Evero. And if, of all the things Rob mentioned, some then occur, then I go to plan B. But I doubt there's anybody that would be as comfortable hiring as that person, since he thinks he should have hired him before. Is it possible that somebody else would be so good? Yeah, but I would doubt it. Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education and leadership by joining the U.S. Army ROTC as an Army officer. You'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer or contact your local Marquette University Army ROTC program to get started. The excitement about the Green Bay Packers given this season, I don't know if I want to ask, will the Packers make the Super Bowl? Will the Packers win the Super Bowl? Just how high, how excited are people? Yeah, 2024, will the Packers win the Super Bowl? I would vote no. I think unless you're Kansas City, you vote no every year. Will the Packers win the Super Bowl in the 2024 season? And all I'm curious as to just how excited people are. Because I doubt, unless Bill Belichick would take the job, I don't know that anybody would be so exciting as a defensive coordinator. Oh, now they're clearly going to make it. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Not anymore. No, there's still that, but I've neglected to add that they've been doing it well for over 50 years. That's how you can be that good. Confusing insurance decisions, not to them. Not when you've been doing it well for over 50 years. Family-owned, level-funded health insurance. Came up with that. Why? Because you figure it out after 50 years doing it well. So, small enough to handle your needs with special attention, large enough to have the clout to make it happen. From now until the end of time, as long as I'm saying it, Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and doing it well for over 50 years. Hope I get a chance to say over 60 years. Saganiac Planning, a phone number you can remember, 262-783, Roger Maris, 6161. So will the Packers win the Super Bowl? This just tells me the Pebble, what do you think? 20%? We are not saying whether or not they will. We're saying how many people believe they will. Will it get over 20%?
I'll say it's less than 20%.
Less than 20%?
Yeah, I'll say 15.
Because that's all we're determining is how excited people are. I mean, I think maybe I put a second one up. Will Jordan Love win an MVP award in his career? So that we can have different questions to see which gets the highest percentage. Will Jordan Love win an MVP award in his career? Be a second one. And see how it ranges there. I think that'd probably be a little bit higher. Fisco Auto Body, I talk about them because you'll like me more. That's right. It helps my reputation. And that's how it works, because I tell you about Fisco Auto Body, then you find your place, you go over there, and then you realize how good they are. Then you go, man, Homer knows what he's talking about. Why? It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. They're so good at it. They've been doing it so long before they do it for you. It's easy. They don't tell you it's easy, but the quality of their work tells you it might be. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco, to remember the name. And yes, the music has calmed down significantly here on the campus of Villanova. Marquette and Villanova, that's definitely next with Gabe Neitzel. Will the Packers win the Super Bowl? That's the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. I'm saying, wow, how excited are people? I'm going with 13%. Next.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor.